So, here's the thing about solid-state batteries. The industry's been talking about them for a decade, like they're right around the corner. And every year that corner gets a little further away. Toyota keeps pushing timelines. QuantumScape is still burning cash. And meanwhile, people just want an EV that doesn't lose 40% of its range in January. The fundamental problem with solid-state is manufacturing. A solid electrolyte is brittle. It cracks under thermal expansion. And making it thin and uniform enough at scale is genuinely brutal. We're not dealing with a physics problem at this point. We're dealing with an engineering and economics problem, and nobody's solved it yet in any meaningful scale. CATL basically looked at this situation and said, what if we stopped chasing perfection and instead built something that works right now? That's the Qilin Condensed Battery, and I think it's one of the more quietly impressive things to happen in the EV space in years. Now, before we get into the numbers, let's talk about what this electrolyte actually is, because the name, condensed, is, well, you gotta be honest, it's a little confusing. A standard lithium-ion battery uses a liquid electrolyte. Liquid is great for moving ions around fast, but it's also flammable. It leaks if you puncture the cell, and it degrades over time. Ask Richard Hammond about his experience with Remax Concept 1, and you'll get what I'm talking about. Solid state removes the liquid entirely and replaces it with a ceramic or polymer solid, which solves the safety issues but creates its own headaches with conductivity and manufacturing. Now, CATL went a different route. Their condensed electrolyte is a high-viscosity gel, somewhere between liquid and solid. Technically, it's often called a semi-solid or liquid-solid chemistry in the broader industry. What CATL engineered specifically is a biomimetic, microscale, adaptive mesh structure inside the gel that adjusts how polymer chains interact with each other. This results in something that doesn't flow or leak if the cell is punctured, but still lets lithium ions move through it with the efficiency of a liquid electrolyte. You get the safety profile of a solid state without the conductivity penalty. That's the core innovation here, and they've added a composite current collector on top of that, which essentially acts as a self-fusing fuse during an internal short circuit. If something goes wrong, the current collector melts itself to interrupt the fault before it can cascade. Combined with an aerospace-grade titanium alloy casing that's 60% thinner and 30% lighter than conventional battery housing, while being 3 times stronger per unit, this is a cell that's genuinely been designed from the ground up with safety and mass as co-equal priorities. Now, I want to be careful right here, because battery specs can be overhyped easily, but these numbers are CATL's official figures, released in April 2026, and they hold up under scrutiny. The Qilin Condensed Battery hits 350 watt-hours per kilogram gravimetric energy density and 760 watt-hours per liter volumetric energy density. CATL claims both as world records for any battery going into mass production, and that's not a lab prototype. Not a one-off demo cell. Mass production is what they're at. To put it in perspective, the best LFP packs in current EVs run around 180 to 200 watt-hours per kilogram. High-nickel lithium-ion packs like those in a Model S are around 250 to 270 watt-hours per kilogram at the cell level. Getting to 350 watt-hours per kilogram is a genuine leap, and it comes from a combination of 3 things working as a tightly integrated system. A stabilized high-nickel cathode that adds 50 watt-hours per kilogram versus standard cathodes, a low-expansion silicon carbon anode, and the condensed electrolyte keeping the whole thing chemically stable. But what does this actually mean for a car? CATL says an executive-class sedan fitted with this battery pack, kept under 650 kilograms total pack weight, can do 1,500 kilometers of range on a full charge. That's 900 miles. Now, sure, that's using Chinese CLTC test cycles, and they tend to be rather optimistic. Real-world range will obviously vary, but even if you discount that figure by a third for real-world conditions and mixed driving, you're still looking at something that comfortably exceeds 900 kilometers. That is a level of range that makes range anxiety completely irrelevant as a concept. For large SUVs, CATL quotes over 1,000 kilometers. Again, conservative, real-world math still puts you in territory that no current production EV touches, even if it is lower than those said 1,000 kilometers. Now, here's the part of this story I find most interesting. This technology wasn't developed for cars first. It came out of CATL's electric aviation program. For aircraft, the energy density requirements are completely different from ground vehicles. CATL's condensed approach, sidesteps, all of that. They're scaling a battery that is genuinely novel in performance terms, but not in manufacturing terms. Their existing gigafactory infrastructure can handle it with modifications rather than replacement. And that's why they can say mass production starts in 2026 and actually mean it. Now, before I wrap up, I want to briefly flag something else CATL announced alongside the condensed battery because it tells a different but equally important story. The Naxtra is CATL's sodium-ion battery, and it's the world's first sodium-ion battery to pass China's new national safety standard for EV traction batteries. Mass production began in late 2025, and it's going into the Chang'an Nevo A6 Mid 2026, which will be the first mass production passenger EV using sodium-ion chemistry. The specs are modest compared to the Qilin Condensed or regular lithium-ion batteries for that matter. 175 watt-hours per kilogram, energy density, and around 500 kilometers of range in future versions, and a 10,000 cycle lifespan. But the Naxtra isn't just trying to win the energy density race. It's solving a completely different problem. Sodium is one of the most abundant elements on Earth. You can find it in seawater. You can find it in mines everywhere across the world. The cost of sodium carbonate versus lithium carbonate is no contest. Plus, it's much cleaner than lithium. You don't need toxic mines. You won't be wrapped in controversy like, say, Rio Tinto, and you'll never worry about materials being depleted. And where Naxtra genuinely shines is cold weather performance. At minus 30 degrees Celsius, it delivers nearly 3 times the discharge power of a comparable LFP battery. At minus 40 degrees, it still retains over 90% of its capacity. For anyone living in Scandinavia, Canada, northern China, or most of Russia, that's not nice to have. That's a completely different driving experience in winter. CATL describes the future as a dual chemistry era, sodium-ion for affordable vehicles and cold climate applications, and high-energy lithium-ion or condensed chemistry for premium long-range cars. I think that actually has a more realistic approach and more useful vision for electrification than pretending one chemistry will solve everything, every use case possible. Now, what CATL is doing here isn't just impressive technically. It reflects a particular philosophy about how you actually move an industry forward. Instead of waiting for solid state to be perfect, they build something that's practical, manufacturable, and radically better than what's currently on the road. The Qilin Condensed Battery is better than any current lithium-ion cell in energy density by a wide margin. Period. It matches solid state on safety in the ways that actually matter for consumers. And it can be built at scale using infrastructure that already exists. That combination is genuinely rare in the industry. I find this approach more compelling than most of what gets hyped in the battery space. There's a version of technological progress that's flashy and theoretical, and there's a version that quietly ships. CATL is very clearly in the second camp. The condensed electrolyte is not the sexiest name for battery technology, but the results speak for themselves. 350 watt-hours per kilogram, proven in aviation, coming to passenger cars this year. That's not a press release. That's a product.